Hare Krishna. Welcome back to those who were before, and welcome to those who just came. Shortly summarizing things, this morning we spoke on Srimad Bhagavatam, and from Srimad Bhagavatam we established that the teachings of Lord Chaitanya are based on the Vedic literature, and that, and yet they're not following every aspect of the Vedas, because we pointed out that the Vedas are giving different levels of information. It gives activities for all kinds of people on all kinds of levels. For example, animal sacrifices in the name of Vedic injunctions is a lower level of involving with Vedic instruction. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the topmost information, and therefore the Bhagavat is the basis of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, and in that sense it is representing the most confidential part of the Vedas, which in Bhagavad Gita is described as Rajavijam Rajaguyam, or the supreme knowledge, which is also the supreme secret, very confidential, only known to a few. So even within Vedic culture, it wasn't that everyone knew the process of pure bhakti. Only some, a chosen few, always, even at the time when Vedic culture was flourishing, unlike today, when Vedic culture is, as we pointed it out, unfortunately, khatam ho gaya, dead. It is such things happen. The Vedic culture, Srila Prabhupada explained, is dead now. And what we are having is remnants of Vedic culture. In India today, remnants of Vedic culture. So, we raised the point, is this a Vedic revival movement? No, we are not a Vedic revival movement. We are rather going to the essence of the Vedas. We are not interested to reintroduce every Vedic ritual no. We want to go to the essence, which is Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, or hearing about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, Kirtanam. Kirti means fame or glory, or Smaranam, remembering Him. So in this way, we spend our life understanding that from Bhagavad Gita, Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhavam Charati Ante Kalevaram, whatever you remember at the time of death, that's what you'll attain. So if one simply spends his life remembering Krishna, he will attain Krishna. If one is worshipping the Devatas, one will attain their abode, but that is within the universe. And within the universe, everything is limited by time. Therefore, so many times we ask, but Swamiji, can we not also little worship of Devatas? In my family, we have been doing it for so many years. Said like, well, then we will develop attachment. Yeah, we will develop attachment. What will that attachment produce? Then our attachment will be divided. Some for Krishna, some for the Devatas. For some things we'll go to Krishna, for some we'll go to the demigods or Devatas. That's the result. And then what will we attain at the end of life? I don't know. I don't know. And then I'm not sure. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur said, Mat Anya Devas Rayanai. One should not worship other devas. One should not take shelter of the other devas. We are respectful. We are respectful. Pranam, yes. But our worship we reserve for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference. Not that we are disrespectful, no. Pranam, yes. But worship is for Krishna. That should be our mood. Shraddha. Shraddha is the Sanskrit word for faith. Shraddha, it means, it can be broken, well, I gave some translations here. Fixing the heart, or the belief that all good will come from Krishna Bhakti. Such a nice picture of Krishna, which at the same time we are still going through a few technical definitions first, but yes, our aim is Krishna. So, Shraddha can be broken up in Srat and in Da. Srat means the heart, and Da means to fix. So to fix the heart. That is Shraddha. That is the etymological meaning of Shraddha. Srat, the heart, and Da, to fix. Shraddha, to fix the heart. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a definition also. Shraddha Satya Vishwas Kahe Sudrida Nischay Krishna Bhakti Kora Savakama Kritahar. I go straight to the translation. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activity. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. So that's it. The same thing I've been talking about in the morning, you can see, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about, that simply by the firm conviction that by serving Krishna, everything will be attained. There's no need for anything else. It doesn't mean that we don't take care to eat, to sleep, and so on, or to work, but we don't deviate from principles that Krishna has given. Those principles, they stand at all times. There's no compromise in those, because we're convinced that if we live by those principles, we'll attain everything, perfection of life. I took some words here that that are relating to faith or Shraddha, like confidence, trust, sincerity, truth. All these things are part of faith. Yes. When we are having faith, then we are confident that whatever we do, it's the right thing. We're convinced. We're convinced that we are on the right path, and we feel also like that, inspired in our life. Like, for example, a devotee who would be engaged in service to Krishna all day could, at the end of the day, kind of look at what he or she has done and think like, well, I could have done better, but at least, I did the right things. Right? At least I did the right things. So there is a sense of self-satisfaction, whereas someone who is not so sure what they're doing with their life and just going along with the flow of modern society may do many things that one wonders, why am I doing this? And what is this bringing me? And why am I doing this? So therefore, once we've become a devotee and we have some faith, we have faith in that what we're doing, and it is ultimately positive, even although we may not always be so sure about our own level of surrender, but there's confidence. There is trust, and trust is becoming an important quality. Trust is not so easy, and nobody trusts. That is they say love and trust, and I always say love, yes, trust, well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll smile at you, but we'll check you out at the same time. Every move you make, and we'll trust you up to a certain level. But trust is such a thing that it is said that the heart has many chambers. Right? Now I'm not talking about the 2 chambers of the heart, biological, medical chambers, but I'm talking about in terms of a division of consciousness. Just like a traditional Indian house oftentimes has a courtyard in the middle, because it's hot and it gives ventilation. And also, if one was wealthy and a little aristocratic, then the outside rooms next to the entrance, they're sort of reception areas. When someone comes to the house, they will be received there. And then on the inside, the inner quarters, those are the family quarters, the ladies, the children, they have their quarters around the courtyard. Like that. It's traditional, isn't it? So the heart is something like that. We have these public rooms on the outside that we share with everyone, and there, yes, we talk about what we feel, and I really want to share everything that I'm feeling today, and yeah, that's my public rooms, right? And then there's a few more private quarters, which is reserved for private friends, close friends. We share that with close friends or intimate relatives and so on. And then we have the innermost chamber of the heart. That is the private chamber. Nobody, mind you, nobody gets in there. It's just you alone who knows what is in that innermost hidden chamber. Huh? Yes, and it is said that Hridaya Kandre Vasutchinandana, in those innermost chambers, there must be Krishna. That's where Krishna must be. But of course that's not the case. In these innermost chambers there are other things. Other desires that we don't tell anyone about. Right? All the hidden things are in that room, whatever it is. Right? Of course I saw a cartoon of 2 people hiding their innermost desires, and then you saw thought bubbles above their head, and they were sitting next to each other, and in the thought bubbles there were the same things. They were hiding the same things from each other. Because that's also there, that we are all the same. Our nature, our conditioning is all the same. Who knows the 6 enemies of the mind and can write on a board? Yeah, you do? Okay. Good. There's the board. There's a pen. And you just flip over the chart and you write them there. All 6 under each other. And I'll get back to it. So, like that, we, yes, trust is something that has to gradually develop in us. That is not something that comes automatically. But at least in this movement, we sort of trust people to well, a basic extent where we say that they're expected to be favorable, they're not expected to be outright corrupt and so on. Right? So there is supposedly a higher level of trust in a Vaishnava community, because they expect people have commitments to some principles. So like that, faith is relating to trust, sincerity. Kunti Devi is saying that real... Quick. Good. Kunti Devi is saying that real sincerity is hard to find in this world. Where do you find a real sincere person? Very hard to find. Janmaisvarya Sruti Sibir Edamana Madapuman Naivariti Avadatum Vai Tom Makinchana Gocharam, which means that Those who are attached to their birth, to the position of their birth. Those who are attached to their beauty. Those who are attached to their learning. And those who are attached to their wealth. They cannot approach me with sincere feeling. So that's, that's an elevated platform. Should we get a little air in this room? Does other also feel like a little? Something open somewhere? It's sort of... Huh? The air conditioning is on. Is it on air conditioning or is it on heating? I think it's on stuffiness. Just a little bit of Hare. Maybe turn that thing off, yeah. The sun is coming out and I think, why not nature? Okay, great, thanks a lot. When it gets too cold, you can decide to close it. Great. Well done. So if it's too cold over there, then let us know and we'll go back to the air conditioner, whatever it is. Right? Stuffy thing. What's wrong with nature? Sometimes. Sincerity. So sincerity is something we have to develop, and it comes out that sincerity, Kuti Devi points out, sincerity is not just a mood. Okay? It's not a sentiment, but that sincerity is the result of commitment. And therefore one has to first decommit himself from other things. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking about a young girl who wanted to be married, and naturally she was dressed up nicely and she had many bangles. And then one day she was home alone, and that day two men, strangers, came to the house, an elderly man accompanied by a young man. When she saw the young man, it was like he was the one, somehow or other, she knew it. And she wanted to impress him, and she wanted to cook very nicely. So the men were waiting, and she was preparing something to eat for the guests. And while she was in the kitchen, she was cleaning the rice, throwing it on a tray, and taking out whatever. And the result was that the bangles on her arms were colliding with one another. And this noise, well, it was making a lot of noise. And then she was thinking, they'll know that we are poor, that we don't have a servant to clean the rice. They'll know that I'm doing it myself. That's not good. You'll never marry me. So then she decided to break off the bangles of her arm until there was only one left on each arm. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that, he said, yes, in the same way, we must break off all our treasures, all those things that are dear to us, all these, that I'm a good tennis player, that I am, I don't know, play a trumpet, that I'm, whatever, that I'm athletic, can jump high, or play cricket, or whatever, All these things we take pride in, that make up our identity. All these things, they are to be broken if one wants to make a commitment. Therefore, otherwise the commitment is not full, and then we are committed, then we are attached to our external position, by birth, by learning, by beauty, by wealth, and so on. And therefore, all the bangles must be broken, except for one, Krishna. Then, when all the bangles are broken, then one can focus on Krishna. But as long as we walk around with all our other ornaments, I'm from a very aristocratic family, actually. I mean, I don't make much of a point of it, but at times, if somebody asks, just for information, I actually happen to be from a very aristocratic family. Very strange. It just happened to be so, coincidentally. I mean, I guess it's karma, what can I say? Yes. Yes. And I studied in Harvard and Oxford at the same time. I used to fly up and down once a week. Yes. You can go like that, of course, right? But everyone has something. They take which part of town you're from, what size dog do you have? Yesterday, coming in on the plane, there was Mr. Bean, and he was partaking in this dog show, and the kids had all the dogs that were like, had to do different tricks, and there was a jury that was judging him, and he had his teddy bear, who was also in the thing, and the teddy bear won a big prize. He did well. So what shall we say? Everyone's proud of his pet, of the size of his dog, proud of the car, proud of the phone. So many things add to our identity. All that is not important. All that is to be given up. Yes. Secondary. Reliance. Truth, reliance. Yes, once you have faith, then you start to rely. You just start to rely on your faith. It's like, for example, we have faith in Srila Prabhupada, and then we begin to rely on him to a point where Prabhupada doesn't have to convince us anymore about everything. Like if Prabhupada says they didn't go to the moon, then okay, they didn't go to the moon, good enough, right? We don't need to then investigate it all ourselves and this, that, why they didn't go to the moon. Some of us may do that, but they say, no, it's good enough. Prabhupada said it, so okay, we accept it. Because we have faith in Prabhupada, and we start to rely on Prabhupada. Yeah? And in our movement, of course, Prabhupada said is a big thing. Yeah? Very important. In a way, I call Prabhupada the shortcut. That you don't have to go everywhere, through every detail and study everything ourselves. Of course, if we do, we may understand it even deeper. But at least first we focus, well, what did Prabhupada say? Because we have faith by studying something about him, that he was indeed a pure devotee, who was on the topmost level. There are many extraordinary examples. For example, Prabhupada, this journalist had heard that a pure devotee knows the answer to all questions. And so he asked Prabhupada, said, I heard the pure devotee knows the answer to all questions. And how does he know? And one sannyasi, he offered, Krishna reveals it from within the heart. And Prabhupada said, no, not like that. If I want to know what Krishna wants, I ask him. See, that's another level. There's a level where you know from Krishna within the heart, and the other level is you just ask him. So Prabhupada really was on an extraordinary level, and we all have faith in that. Right? So for many of us, we know we can rely on Prabhupada. The word faith automatically implies dependence. It implies that we are dependent on something. Faith. We have faith in something. Faith in money. faith in my credit card, faith in my car, that I can get out of here any moment, whenever I want. I got my car, got my wheels, wherever I am. At least I got the car. Yeah, it gives you a sense of freedom. Imagine being stuck somewhere without any transport. So, dependence. Faith makes us aware of our dependence on Krishna. Once we have faith in Krishna, we realize our dependence on Krishna. It indicates that we have a relationship with Krishna. Faith includes respect and also loyalty, like faithful, being loyal and dedicated. So these are all words. With these words, we're trying to sort of sketch some boundaries of the topic of faith. And we'll go a little further. Faith is also in what is not, what we cannot see, the unknown, or miracles. And then you get like evidence, not only blind faith, but faith based on evidence, on proof, is stronger than faith that's just based on sentiment. Then we're speaking of a system of belief. It says like any belief is built up out of components, out of certain elements. And like this morning, I explained how Lord Chaitanya based his movement on the Bhagavad philosophy, and it gives some idea of a system of belief. Faith based on sentiment, faith based on philosophy. Then there's faith based on tradition. Why do you believe this? It's like, it's just, I don't know, I just learned it. That's how I grew up, right? So it's just like what my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and everybody believes this. Right? So tradition is very powerful. And then, of course, for us also, a spiritual tradition. We have a spiritual tradition. And each of a line of disciplic succession, and each of the acharyas within that disciplic succession are living their life according to the scriptures and have realized the conclusions of the scriptures. So that is there. Faith is also related to mercy. Bhagavad Gita speaks of faith in the three modes of material nature. And of course, in our case, we got through mercy in the parampara some transcendental information. There was some faith in that. But we also still are afflicted by the three modes of material nature. Therefore, our faith is mixed. It's mixed. And because we are afflicted by these three modes of material nature, it can affect our faith. Sometimes you have someone who has such a desire to enjoy the senses, right? and just no longer can live with all the strict rules of Krishna consciousness, and then they start to sort of deviate, right? And then they develop a philosophy about it. I sometimes refer to a person I met who had been a devotee for years, but then somehow or other he told me that, he said, on my wife's birthday we drank a bottle of wine and I didn't feel any less Krishna conscious over it. My answer was, because you were drunk. Come on, It's too much, see? I hate this, to tell you the truth, when people make a philosophy out of it. If you say, okay, I'm weak, I have a drink sometimes, okay. Anyway, it's not good, but alright, we understand that we are human and we have understanding for the problem. Let's see if we can help you to get over it. But if there's a philosophy, I don't feel any less Krishna conscious over it. Give us a break, you know. And there are, of course, so many things like that we can turn into a philosophy, many deviations. So that's really where the three modes begin to cover our Krishna consciousness, so much so that we begin to philosophically deviate. That's unfortunately. So then the lower faith has taken over from the higher faith. Well, some other words. Faith comes from association. When we associate with devotees, then faith develops. Faith comes from surrender, from purity. If we have purity, then our faith will get stronger. If we are lacking in purity, then our faith will also be weaker. Like that. So, and faith is related to pleasure. Well, these are some words that I wanted to give. Now I have here a little chart for you, and I'll take you there quickly. Basically, here are the 5 deities that are worshipped in Panchapasana, 5 types of worship. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur commented on this and explained that these 5 types of mentalities exist in the world. You'll see it in different cultures and different people and different traditions. The Shakta is the person who is responding to the material energy and the ghastliness of the material energy and tries to pacify the material energy. So we see that in tribal cultures. For example, therefore you see in Shakta worship sometimes that animal sacrifices are made with the idea that there is a deity up there that wants blood. So, you know, rather than our blood, let him have the blood of the animal. No? So we can see, pacify the anger of whatever is up there, whatever being is up there. Or pacify the forces of evil. Here in the third column, I put shamanism, and I put the scientist. Tribal, I already sort of referred to. Shamanism is basically, let me go to the scientist first, and say, Nietzsche came up with the philosophy that man finds himself in a hostile universe, and the answer to this is power. Well, that is exactly what we're doing nowadays. We are living, that is our culture. A culture that we're living in a hostile universe, and we respond to it with power. For example, bacteria. Nuke them. Just, you know, throw nuclear pills on top and just bomb them to pieces. Finished, you know. Insects, you know. It's like, again, on the plane there was a lady, she had like, on the advertisement, she had a spray can in a holster, and like a cowboy was pulling it out, spinning it around a few times, and it 3 insects. Finished, yeah. So the war on insects, right, with pesticides and so on. What shall I say? Sometimes I say, have the pepper and salt, and then next to it a can of spray called Doom or something like that. Right? And as you put a little pepper and salt on your veggies, you can, you know, put a little of the spray as well. No? No, it's not required. It's not necessary. It's already pre-sprayed for you. Don't worry. Okay. So that is the culture that we live in. A culture that is in war with its environment. And actually our whole culture is based on this concept of a fight with the world around us. So that is a Shakta culture, really. So there's a lot of Shakta element in our culture. Through power, trying to conquer the material energy. That is in the Shakta mentality. Conquer the material energy through power. We can see that very much in modern society. That's why the scientist is in there, and the shamanist is also there. The shaman who is trying to build up personal power. So through personal power to control. If we just jump to the very top, right, the Vaishnava is making himself dependent. Prabhupada spoke about the cat way and the monkey way. He said the little monkey is holding on to its mother by its own strength, whereas the kitten is lifted by the superior strength of the mother. And Prabhupada pointed out, that is the better process. To be lifted by the superior strength is better than trying to elevate oneself on one's own strength. Yogis who are trying to build up power and mystic power, elevate themselves to higher and higher planets, are considered following the monkey way. Whereas the cat way is then the Vaishnava way. Not trying to build up mystic power, but trying to attract the mercy of the all-powerful Supreme Lord to lift us up to the spiritual realm. Okay, very quickly, I am not, first of all, I have not made this chart in the sense, I have not decided who's on top, and that's not me. That is basically established within the Vedic literature. There may be some debate, right, on by various groups, but our Vaishnava Acharyas have more or less given us this hierarchy. So it's just that you understand. The second level, the Surya. Surya is Surya. The Suryas are worshipping the sun, or the energy, the cosmic energy, or prana. Well, there's a lot going on with prana these days. Prana healing, chakras, catching the prana. There's a pyramid on the table, and pyramids are very, very good for prana. And so prana is fashionable. There's a lot of prana healing. Shamanism also is coming up now. We see that ancient cultures, Egypt, Incas, Reiki, chakra therapy, shiatsu, it's all related to prana and to energies, and working with energies. That's all within the realm of Surya. The realm of Ganapatya, or worshipping Ganapati, is fruitive worship. It's the kind of worship where you're looking for gain in the material world. Many times it's said Ganapati is the deity of the Vaishyas, who are, looking for some business opportunities. So it is, of course, it's found everywhere. It's found in all the world religions. Karma Kanda then in the Vedic tradition. Rituals for getting material benefits, and in Christianity give us the daily bread, and in Islam you get 17 maidens in the heavens and things like that. So it's all about material benefit. The Shaivites are into impersonalism, and we see that, of course, in Sankara, we see it in Buddhism, we see it in Islam. Impersonalism, well, there is between the material and the spiritual world, there is a river known as the Viraja that separates the spiritual and the material world. This Viraja is sometimes known as the causal ocean. It is said that on the spiritual side of the Viraja river, there is a form of Lord Shiva which is known as Sadashiva. There is the abode of Sadashiva. Sadashiva is an expansion of Vishnu. He is Vishnu Tattva. Then it is said that when Mahavishnu, the universes begin to manifest from him, and just as that begins, just before he glances upon the pradana. Pradana is the unmanifested material energy. He glances upon it, and the glance is Shambhu. Shambhu enters into pradana. Pradana then becomes activated, and Mahatattva, the material energy, is becoming manifest, and all the living beings are within. Okay? So in this way, Shambhu is the generating principle, and Prakriti is receiving. That is the Shiva Lingam. Shambhu as the male generating principle, Prakriti is the female form, and these two make up the Shiva Lingam. So Sadashiva, from him, Shambhu is the generating principle. Now, in the Brahma Samhita, it says Ksiram Yada, Ksiram Tata Yadi Vikara Vishesa Yogat, that this Shambhu is a transformation as milk transforms into yogurt. Once milk has become yogurt, you can't make it back into milk. From milk you can make yogurt, but you cannot make yogurt and turn it back into milk. That's not possible. So, once Shambhu has transformed, then he becomes Rudra. So Sadashiva goes to this as the glance is coming down and then transforms into Rudra, into the demigod Shiva that we know in this world. Right? And he is a tattva of himself. He's no longer Vishnu tattva. He is Shiva tattva, Shambhu tattva. He's his own tattva. Yes? And he's transformed. He doesn't have the powers of Vishnu anymore. Okay, so because in this concept there is the male generating principle along with the female receiving principle, and all emanating from the pradana, which does not have any shape or form, then therefore it is thought that everything, therefore impersonalist philosophers are claiming everything has its origin there. It all originates from when there is no form. Therefore impersonalism is naturally connected to Lord Shiva. Shaivites therefore are impersonalists, or impersonalists tend to look at Shiva rather than at Vishnu. Personalists are looking to Vishnu, or we see of course that Vaishnavism believes in a personal God. Traditional Christianity also believes in a personal God. Of course, later on, Christianity became more watered down. They used to think that there was a personal God somewhere up on the clouds, but then with flying up there nowadays, and no one saw them, and therefore they decided this is mythology, and the actual God is just all-pervading love. Well, then you become a pocket impersonalist, a Mayavadi. So lots of Christians are now also impersonalists. All right, these are 5 types of faith, one can say, that develop. Because in Hinduism today, that's a website, by the way, also Hinduism Today, which is a website which is impersonalist. And they are exactly believing what I'm going to say now, namely that all these manifestations are simply manifestations of the one impersonal, all-pervading energy. That, of course, we do not agree with as Vaishnavas. Okay, with this I showed a little hierarchy of development of faith. Let's look at it very quickly again. The Shaktas are responding to the negativity of material nature and try to pacify it or get power over it. The Suryas are looking at the positive cosmic energy, therefore they are higher because their focus is positive. But there is no personal concept or anything. The Ganapachas are looking at a personal concept, but they only look for material benefit and material gain. So it's incomplete. The Shaivites, they have a broad, cosmic, complete concept, even beyond the cosmos, of how this material world is connected to the spiritual realm. But there's no concept of personality. The Vaishnavas see how even Sadashiva and Mahavishnu are finding their origins in Lord Vishnu, who finds his origin in Krishna. In that way, the Vaishnavas have the most extended picture of the total reality, spiritual and material. Alright, so just that we can see why we place them in this order, because the Shakta is dealing just with material energy and the negativity. The Surya is dealing with material energy, but with the positive aspect. The Ganapacha is dealing with material energy, but sees a person. The Shaivat is dealing with spiritual energy, but sees it impersonal. The Vaishnava is dealing with spiritual energy and sees both the personality and the impersonal energy. In this way, there is a hierarchy, which we can see. And it is a little technical, but it is important that we can see how all different types of faith in the world are ultimately relating to this chart. Right? You can put them all somewhere. And our own faith may also belong somewhere, and our family may belong somewhere. And, you know, like our parents may go in a box, right? So, like that. Yeah, it touches our life also. I wanted to show a little bit about the theology of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya didn't write any books. He spoke his teachings to Rupa Goswami, to Sanatana Goswami, and to others. But in the Siksastikam, 8 prayers, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya are there. And then there were 2 books that Lord Chaitanya discovered in South India, the Brahma Samhita and the Krishna Karnamrita. And these 2 books are of importance, and especially the Brahma Samhita we are studying, and is an important book to understand. So what I quickly put here on the board are like the main books that we study. I mean, if we study these books, what is here on the board, I mean, then you are a serious Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava scholar, if you have these books. If you study them, then you really have the core of our whole philosophy down. Of course, the Satsandarbhas, we do not yet have good, really first-class English translations of them. We have some quickly done translations, Jiva Goswami's work, but that is in the process, and that will be there in the future. But these are like the major literatures. So the 6 Goswamis, on the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wrote their books that established his teachings on the basis of scripture. So it was the same conclusions that they heard from him, everything they heard from him, and then they collected evidence from various Vedic scriptures to underbuild it and support it. So that's what you find in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Satsandarbhas. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita is like the last word of our Sampradaya. Right? The Gaudiya Sampradaya, after Krishnadas Kaviraj came at the end, he outlived all the others. Like it said, the Chaitanya Charitamrita was finished in 1616 and 1616, and in maybe 1554 or something like that, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written. So 60 years earlier. There's 60 years earlier, and Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they left in 1579. And Krishnadas Kaviraj published Chaitanya Charitamrita in 1616. So he had access to all the other books, took their conclusions, and therefore the Chaitanya Charitamrita includes it all. In that way, it's like the last word of our Sampradaya. Alright, I thought I'd throw it in. Well, meanwhile, we have some artwork on the board here. It is lust, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, and then moha, matsarya. Okay? Or lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, illusion. So these 6 are the enemies of the mind. Basically, the other day I was giving a lecture speaking about these 6, they make up our lower nature. When we say, okay, what is our lower nature? It's these 6 things. That's our lower nature. And well, there it is. You're looking at your lower nature. It's like a mirror. That's well done. Whoever did it. Yeah. Madness, not pride. And yeah, it is like a mirror of our own lower nature. And that is the problem. This is what causes the difficulties for us. So it is because of that, because of these, that people develop a philosophy of convenience. You know what I mean? You develop a philosophy which accommodates your desires. So there are many philosophies in the world who are just born out of convenience. Okay, we have somehow or other come in contact with the bona fide Sampradaya. Many of us had no idea what we were coming in contact with, but for different reasons we came. Right? I know people who just came to the Hare Krishna temple because of the halva. Right? Absolutely. For many people the halva did it. Others literally followed the music and walked straight into the door of the temple. And others came because they came for the deities. There was a temple and they wanted to come for the deities. They had no idea what else was behind, but they just came for the deities. Like that, so many reasons why people came, but nobody came because they fully understood. They fully understood. Even those who read the books, they still did not understood. Even those who joined, they didn't understand either. Right? In fact, you know, even those who were around for many years and very learned, you know, had followed everything for many years, they still didn't understand the nature of this movement. Right? I guess none of us really, here in this room, really understands what we're part of. Yeah, we're part of something, have no idea what it is. That's the situation, really. And little by little, we're discovering more and more about it, and so far, so good. Okay? It's not bad, actually. It has many nice features as we're discovering it. And as we're discoving it, it becomes something, it becomes more attractive. Well, for one thing, this morning I began, and for that I want a flip chart. See how I'm going to use it? we were discussing the definition of Bhagavan, and I broke it down in Ba, Ga, and Va, 3 syllables, Bhajaniya, Guna, Vasista, which means that the Supreme Lord is irresistible. You have to worship Him. So that is for that is a key element in our development of faith, because Krishna is indeed very nice, and the more you discover Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, well, the more not only does he become attractive, but it also begins to make sense. For example, here is Krishna. He's all beautiful. He's young, always ever fresh. He is all powerful, and yet he doesn't look like Hulk, you know, some sort of. He doesn't need like muscles like that. And he showed it by beating up some wrestlers. In Mathura, in the wrestling arena, it said that this Chanura and Mustika were fighting with Krishna and Balaram. At one point, Krishna hit his opponent on the head, and his eyes popped out of his head, dangling there like little. So anyway, whatever it was, on strings. So Krishna is strong, undoubtedly, but doesn't need like these kind of arms. So gradually, all the qualities that are in Krishna are kind of qualities that you would think God should have. I have a story how I was in New York, and I was, one day on a park bench, there was an elderly person who smiled. I offered him a book, and he smiled at me, and he said, "I am God." Meanwhile, in his smile, there was a tooth missing. Anyway, I said to him, "My dear God, so unexpectedly, you have revealed yourself to me. And for so many years, I have been your devotee. I have tried and tried. No, really, seriously, I have tried to perceive you. Sometimes you've given me a sign, but never ever have I met you face to face. And I never thought it would happen today, just right here in New York on a park bench. The only thing is, my Lord, I still have a little doubt in my heart. Right? Would you be so kind, to remove that and just give me a confirmation of your divinity by doing something extraordinary?" He says, "What would you like?" I said, "Well, the sun is kind of hot. Would you mind making those trees on the other side of the park a little taller, so that, we get some shade here?" Yeah? He said, "What makes you think that God can do that?" I said, well, isn't God all-powerful? He says, "That is your definition." I said, "Then what is your definition? That God is a toothless man on a park bench?" Anyway, what shall we say? But not that I wanted to put him down or something, but it is sort of, it was a bit pathetic, then everybody can be God, right? Yeah, it's just a name, right? Okay, give it a name and call it God, and everybody is God. But then what's the point, Give it any name you want, right? But meanwhile, it's toothless. That's the issue. So a toothless God is not convincing. We want one that is beyond such things, who is not like limited by the material energy. What's the point if you're limited by old age, disease, and death, and all these things? It doesn't convince. No. God should be truly all-powerful. Makes sense. That makes sense. Logical. All-knowing. Makes sense. Makes sense. Then, once upon a time, I went to the headquarters of the Jehovah's Witnesses in London, and I had a full tour, and it's a whole story in itself, which I'm not gonna tell you now. But anyway, in short, there is a philosophy that one day heaven will come on earth, and then whatever imperfections there are now in relationships will all be removed, and everything will be wonderful. And everything will be the same. You'll still have your same family that you have now, but, you know, for a change, you'll perfectly get on with each other. Okay. Dogs will love cats, and mutual. Cats will love dogs, and, you know, the whole thing, the whole world will go like that, right? I said, but 144,000 only are going to heaven. Right? And those 144,000, it says this somewhere in the Bible, and they have the 144,000 go to heaven, and they will assist. And said, what are these 144,000 doing there? Said, they assist God in taking care of all the others. That, oh, they have to work. They're the management. You know what I mean? It's like we are having a great retreat here, and there are people running around in the kitchen and, you know, cooking it up for lunch. That is the way that that we are, experiencing it. I was distracted by the clock. Was I going to 12:30? You said? Yeah. Yes. Good. Didn't bring my paper. Anyhow, so we are seeing that Krishna has many qualities. So one way, as we are exploring Krishna's qualities, then automatically we begin to see that our faith grows. You know? If someone says, but can you prove that Krishna is God? You know, how do you know? Why do you have faith? How do you know? Did you see it? Did you see it? They give you a serious, did you see him? Did you? Tell me, did you or did you not? And if you didn't, then how do you know he exists? Yes. But one can say, well, we can see on different levels, right? Maybe we haven't seen face to face, but maybe we can see his hand. We can see his hand in everything. We see God's hand, that we can see. It's not, so many things happen more than coincidence. And that is for us something, some sense of, yes. And then, okay, scriptures are telling us, and the more we hear about the qualities of Krishna, the more it makes sense that he is God. The more we hear about the purpose of the world, you know, it's like, okay, some religion may say God is an all-pervading intelligence. I mean, he is the intelligence behind everything, and everything is going on by his design, intelligent design. Okay, that's all right. Fine, you know, there's like everything going on by some intelligence, there's intelligent design. But what is the purpose? What is the purpose of it all? What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of the universe? What's the purpose of the whole, of all the variety? Okay, he's behind, what's the purpose of the design? You ask questions like that, then the priest will come and say, you're not supposed to ask questions like this. It's one of those questions that there's no answer. There's no answer, that's the point. And therefore, Krishna consciousness, as a system of belief, is giving a very deep purpose. Very recently, we celebrated Radhastami, and I was remembering a verse which I really like from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says that the love of Srimati Radharani is like a mirror, and it reflects the unlimited qualities of Krishna. And each time, she's discovering more and more qualities, which means her love is growing and growing. Right? So this says something about the eternal liberated devotee of Krishna in the spiritual world, who is eternally discovering new aspects of Krishna. This is not just Radharani, this is everyone. And there is no end to it, which makes the transcendental experience eternally growing, eternally increasing, always an ever-increasing ocean of love. And that is exactly what our theology is. The Premamritambo, the ocean of transcendental love. All the Vaishnavas are contributing to it. Krishna himself is also involved in it, because he's not a stone statue who's just accepting the worship of his devotees. That would be one-sided, and the love would not be complete. No, the love also comes from his side, for his devotees. Therefore, the devotees worship Krishna, and Krishna worships his devotees. And that makes the whole thing kind of, touching the heart, see? Even, wow. So in this way, the theology, or the whole concept, is very complete. It gives a very deep purpose. It describes a God who is definitely better than an old toothless man on a bench, right? Or, or so many others, right? I mean, I saw a video clip. There's a website called exbaba.com, exbaba.com. You can have a look at that website if you like. And anyway, I happened to look at that website, and there was a clip of a particular Baba, and he was in his ashram, and it was very hot, and it was filled with people, and in India, very hot, and garam, 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 and somebody brought him a towel, which is, in India, nothing unusual. So he took the towel with two hands, put it in his face, okay, and then it's up his face and he goes, and then a golden egg-shaped lingam, right, falls out of his mouth in the towel. Now, I could do that too if I'd have the money to buy the golden egg. If anyone wants to buy me a golden egg, I'll do it for you. No problem at all. It's like, I'm not a great magician, but I think that one I can pull off. That sounds like manageable. And then you saw some people like, he plop. This is too much. And Prabhupada would say, we are not worshipping the one who can produce a little bit of gold, but we are producing the one who has made all the golds in all the gold mines of the world. Right? That is the one we are worshipping. Yeah. So, Krishna in all respects stands out. And of course, there is, Krishna showed his universal form, Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, and plus killed a few demons, and so on, by which he kind of proved that he was, that he really, was more than just an average person. And if you still have any doubts about Krishna, then let me remind you that Krishna, during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, during the battle was 125 years old. And he didn't say, "Wait a minute, Arjuna, not so fast. Chariot. Yes, it's not easy, you know. 125. God, to ride around with these horses here at my age. And all that dust here on the battlefield. God, slow down." Right? So, but Krishna was not by any means affected by such symptoms of all things. But this shows our systems of belief is a very, it all makes sense. It's a very logical, consistent picture. Yeah? One may not have seen Krishna, but the concept is so logical and consistent that one says, yes, it makes sense. Because he has all the attributes that God should have. He's all-powerful, all-knowing, and and the purpose of the whole world is to come to a loving exchange with the Lord. Here in this particular world are the rebels. Here we are, guys and gals. The rebels, right? The ones who decided that we don't need him. No, thank you. We can do it ourselves. So we are here performing our own dramatic performance, yes. Even in Krishna consciousness, oftentimes, right, it is still Bhakta Romeo and Bhaktin Juliet with Radha Krishna in the background, yes. So still, we place ourselves, our own life in the center, and Radha Krishna are there, but they're not in the foreground. Yeah. So that is our current consciousness, all centering around us. So I wanted to deal with the topic of faith from 3 perspectives in the next few days. And I started on the first one, called personal conviction. As you can see, I'm sort of dealing with our own belief, our faith. The other way I wanted to discuss faith is how we express it in our community, in our own community. We share a belief, and what are we doing about it? We have retreats. What else do? We have festivals. What else do? We eat more than other people. So, like that, you know, we have a particular way of within our community to express our faith and our beliefs. Yes, that is there. And then in the last section, I wanted to enter in dialogue, right? How we are presenting ourselves to those who have other ideas than we have, and to sort of identify some of our concepts and what they might look like to others, and also to look at some of the things that others are doing and how relevant they might be to us, because there are many things in other traditions that might be interesting. I'll give you an example. The Benedictine monks, for example, they have an initiation ritual, and it's kind of interesting. If someone wants to become a monk, they come to the monastery and they bring their worldly clothes. The worldly clothes are accepted, folded nicely, put in nicely packed and sealed, and then put on the shelf. Meanwhile, you get your spiritual clothing, put that on, then they take vows, and their name is written in a golden book which is on the altar. Then, if in due course of time a person would like to give up their vows, no problem. they go to the storeroom, they give their spiritual clothes, they're nicely folded and packed away with a label and a name on it. They get their worldly clothes taken off the shelf and can put them back on, and they can walk out the door. But their name is still in the golden book. So it's very interesting how that system, I really like it. It's sort of, because it makes someone think, right? Now I have now put my old clothes back on, my old identity. What did I stepped back in my old identity once again. But I'm not really the old one, because my name is still in the book. There's a lot of psychology behind it. It's quite interesting how they did that. And in dialogue, we can, dialogue goes two ways. It's not just us, we have the truth and you listen, no. They may also have some things of interest to us. So dialogue is two ways. There's two ways. So in that way, I wanted to approach it from these three angles. We're going to do some mind mapping. I don't know if you're familiar with mind mapping, but mind mapping is a very creative process, and because we're in Govinda Valley and it all looks so nice, I cannot really go completely berserk, which I have done in other places. What I have done, I've in the past given work groups on faith, and together we made a mind map of our faith on the wall. Not with pencils on the wall, but with paper and blue tack, and it was a whole thing. And we had a wall of faith, of how our faith was built up, which were the elements of our faith. And then on the other wall, we had a wall of doubt. And then we made the wall of our doubt. And the interesting thing was that the things that were like the roots of our faith were also the roots of our doubt. They looked very similar, the wall of faith and the wall of doubt, in these experiments. We're not going to do that today. I just share it with you that that's what we did. We're just going to do a small little mind map for you together. Okay, here's the big F in the middle. It's faith. Now, I want you to, one moment, just take a deep breath, think, and what really is like the most important thing for you personally, and that sort of made you come to Krishna consciousness, keeps you to Krishna consciousness. What is that one thing? The first thing of your face. Of course you have different reasons, a bit of this, a bit of that, but some may just say the halva, then alright, here, halva. So I'm gonna just close my eyes and just go like this, and where the pen stops, that's the one that speaks. So I won't look, I promise you. Okay? So you have to have an answer, right? And of course have a good sense of direction. If I'm aiming at you, I'll just, don't be surprised if I get you. Okay, here we go. So let's see who we get. I can feel it coming to you. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Philosophy. The philosophy.
The philosophy. Okay. Philosophy is also known as Phil. For friends, Phil for friends. Yeah? Okay. Right, so here we go again. Watch out for your camera. Yeah?
The Prabhupada's book.
It's pretty close, huh? Okay. Well, I'll make I'll make it like a fork here, SP books, because.
Assurance from Krishna.
The what?
Assurance from Krishna that he take care of you if you become good.
Can you say it in one word?
Assurance.
From Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna's assurance. Krishna's assurance. I know you can't read this anymore because, but I'll read it out to you later on. Okay, again. Yeah, got you. Yeah.
Literature helped me to understand what it helped me to understand what I am and why I am.
Okay. I guess we'll make another one here. How do you say that short? Who's an editor? Help me understand what I am.
Self-realization.
Huh?
Self-realization.
Self-identity, realization is a bit much. Oh, that's too much. Are you self-realized? So, identity then. Okay. Right. Yes. Abdelizea. Very good.
Self-realization.
You have to speak loud. I'm deaf.
Self-realization.
Self-realization. Okay, I hope really to get, this branch looks very heavy. I'm afraid it's a bit lopsided here. Self-realization. Okay, let's try again. Let's see what happens. Yes, sir. Yeah? Huh?
Purity.
Purity. Okay, I'm going to point at the back. Yeah?
Say the people, the temple.
The people. People, and then temple, what is that? Temple. People in the temple. Temple people. Okay, put it on the temple people. It's on there. Temple people. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's you. Yeah. Friends. It's amazing. You go all over the place. Okay. I'm gonna try now on the other side. Kirtan.
Sannyasis.
Already been there. No,
Me?
yeah, you, yeah.
Teaches me devotion to Krishna.
Well, okay, one word, not so much.
Devotion.
Devotion. Teaches you devotion. Okay. Let's try something there. Kirtan also. Kirtan times 2. Okay. Well, Krishna. The halva kid. And the pakoras. It's not good. Huh? Koma, eh? Prasadam in brackets, koma. I mean, that's important. That must be there. Okay, got it. Prasadam, koma. Okay, anybody else who has an idea? Yes?
Parents.
Parents. Okay, we're getting lots of roots here.
Makes us happy.
Vaishnava Association. You already had one. You can only have one. Yes? What? Practicality. Well, it looks very different from my own, you know that? Practicality. You don't have one of mine. And we're going to do this and then I'm going to show you mine.
So happiness.
Happy? Oh, hold on. Okay, here.
Association.
Association. I don't have much space left, so it's getting to the end. And
It makes us happy.
what is the root of your faith? Huh?
Joy.
Happy?
If it makes us happy.
Happy, happy. That's good. Happy.
Devotional service moments.
Higher taste, somebody said. Coming now. I mean, have enough space for two more and then it's full. Higher taste. Okay, one more.
Devotional service moments.
No, yes, you. Classes? Glasses? What? Lectures. Lectures. By the way. Okay, well, lectures by devotees. Okay, I'm full. I can't, the paper is too small. I know we could, we need a wall, right? And because you can take each of these things and make branches.
I think we are writing that whiteboard.
I can do it, eh? Does it come off? Are they made for the whiteboard?
Yeah.
Start with a whiteboard marker. No worries, eh? Hey, good one. This is also a whiteboard marker. Yay! All right. So, well, can I put some of mine also?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, my first and foremost is something. Sometimes people ask me, "When did you join ISKCON?" And my answer to that is, I didn't join ISKCON. I didn't join ISKCON. I joined Prabhupada, and for his sake, I'm making a contribution to ISKCON. I didn't join ISKCON. I joined Prabhupada. He convinced me. Okay? It's like his personality, his teaching, that convinced me. And I said, all right, now we'll be part of a society, the Hare Krishna movement. I had to swallow a little bit about that. Then I'll, you know, put on a man in a dress and all those things. It took a little mental, you know, exercise before I was ready for that. Yeah? But I did it because of Prabhupada. So I feel what's really lacking here is Prabhupada. And, it would have been my first one, you know, if I'd say that is like the biggest root of my faith is Prabhupada. And then yeah, it's like the deities are also not on here. You know what I mean? There's no deities here. I'm kind of surprised. I thought I get all the philosophy is like almost falling off the map. You know, philosophy, Prabhupada's book, self-identity, self-realization, and but very, very and. Okay, prasadam had to be there, I understand. Lecture by devotees, okay. But it also goes really on the philosophy section. A lot of the philosophy section. No deities. Oh well. Huh?
Devotees?
devotees are somewhere there.
Yeah, they.
Where we have
Temple people.
temple people. Temple people. So I would put some deities in there, just for the heck of it. Well, okay, let's take the map a little further then. Friends, who said friends? Friends. Okay, why do you have faith in friends? Or why did they...
Sorry, I have a question on why do we keep coming back? What attracts us, what inspires us to...
You thought, why do we keep coming back?
Why we keep pursuing Krishna consciousness, why we go to the temple.
Okay, that's how you take it. I thought that the question is faith in the middle, and what gives us faith. But friends do, and you keep on coming back, so that is ultimately...
By coming back, like my friends inspire me to come back and hang around and stuff, and...
Friends, okay.
And then...
I'm trying to... Can you think of it, putting it in one word? Whoever gives answers, try and put it in one word. Inspire. Inspire to come back. Yeah, that's true. They inspire to come back, or to stay. You know. Yeah, Pandita.
Experience of happiness.
You have to be loud.
Experience of happiness.
Through from the friends, or from what? It's a new one. Is it a new brand?
No, it's experience of happiness gives you faith.
Experience of happiness related to what?
With friends.
Gives you faith, so when you can answer
Yeah.
in the experience of being precise.
Okay, well I have here happy, someone said happy, so that looks like the experience. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Experience gives faith. Yeah, it's true. Okay. Someone said parents. Parents. So what about the parents?
Yeah, parent teachers, like generally, I was born in India, parent teachers about the God,
Yeah.
and that's why we believe.
Yeah. So it's like parents.
Parents' guidance.
Yeah. Tradition. Okay. Tradition. That's the same. Guidance. But you know, I also had parents, like you, believe it or not, I had. And my father taught me that if I wanted to believe in God, that was up to me. Yeah? He was too busy. He was very busy making money, and he thought that I should also do that. And but I did not believe him. So why did you believe your parents?
Oh, because in India it's a culture. We born in India.
Well, not everyone in India. There's a lot of guys in Mumbai and the Dadas and everything. So no, there must be something more. But just because everyone did like that, or
It may be sanskar. Like
these things it's sanskar. Okay, I'll put sanskar. Okay, anybody who wants to comment on like things like temple people, reasons why why temple people are good, or reasons why kirtan gives you faith, or reasons why Prabhupada is important for our faith, or why purity is important for our faith. Yes?
I was going to say ignorance, because I felt ignorant when I first went to the temple, and I felt it drew my sort of, convenient philosophies together from there.
Well, okay, you felt dwarfed in front of the philosophy.
Well, no, not so much so. I felt like it put everything in place, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be more like that.
Yeah. So you want to put something, add something to the philosophy branch, I guess. Huh? All falls into place. Yeah. Okay. I have your self-identity, self-realization, sannyasis. Anybody wants to give a reason why sannyasis?
It's because they're constant inspiration due to their example and their constant preaching. So that's a high source of faith. You can definitely increase your faith through that inspirational, leadership and example. Constantly just going.
Okay, got it. So many words. Not very good, but I'm trying. Anybody? Yeah. Parampara. Is that a new one or is that an old one?
New one.
Huh? Tradition, yeah.
So that's
Very good.
Samskara, parampara.
Yeah, parampara. There we go. Parampara. Yeah. Yeah.
Prabhupada's biography, whichever.
Prabhupada.
Biography. Video.
Biography.
Yeah.
Biography. Okay. Yes.
This may coincide with the sannyasi aspect. It's the renouncement aspect that you see in the ISKCON temples, where that's the devotees and everybody that's there. That sort of attracts you, and it re-establishes the faith in the sense that without anything, you can still sort of live and be happy.
Renunciation. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to write without anything that's in kind of space. Yes?
Prabhupada did all these miracles, right?
Prabhupada's miracles. Yes.
I taste it makes us give up things that didn't really give us happiness.
Makes us. It's hard to write it. This makes us give up unhappy things. Okay, we're almost at the end of the time anyway. So you can say anything now. I'll write it down. Deities. Anybody?
Krishna himself.
Chanting and meditation.
Chanting and meditation is a new one, is it? Come. Chanting. So chanting gives us faith. It's true. Why? Does it give us faith?
It gives the concentration and gives the lead.
Concentration on what?
Krishna.
It focuses the mind.
That's all. Oh.
Transcendental, and it's Krishna, name, same as Krishna. So.
Yeah, so it focuses on Krishna. Focus on Krishna. True. Okay, lectures by devotees. What did you get from lectures by devotees?
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Huh? What does he say?
Inspiration.
Oh, service attitude. Thank you. Couldn't hear it. I'm not used to acts and service attitude. Yeah, it's a nice thing. We're getting some nice things, huh? Yes, what else? I need a translator.
Prabhupada's faith.
Prabhupada's faith.
Jiva's faith. It's like a
Okay, Prabhupada's faith. Yes?
The deities feast for the eyes.
Feast for the eyes, the deities. Boom. Feast for the eyes. Okay, well, I hear something.
Simple living light.
Simple living, high thinking. Where does it belong? It's not a new branch, I hope.
Practicality. Practicality.
Practicality.
Next to sannyasi.
Next to sannyasi.
Below.
Practicality. That's it. Simple living, high thinking. Only 4 words. Okay.
Prabhupada's love towards us.
Prabhupada. Okay. Love for us. Okay.
Maharaj, devotional service.
Devotional service. Did we have it somewhere? Devotion, yeah, we have it here. What would you like to say about it?
Devotional service, like when devotees perform different devotional service in the temple.
We already have it, so what would you like to add about it?
Opportunity to do service.
Huh?
The opportunity to do service.
Okay.
Engagement.
Opportunity for service. I can hardly write anymore. Okay. What else we have? Okay, it's beginning to look like something. Very artistic. Anyone wants to say anything more about? You can.
Through Prabhupada's books, like Absolute.
Absolute, there you go. Absolute. Yeah, that takes you off the mental platform. That's good.
Under association, devotees who actually practice what they preach.
Practice what they preach. Practice what they preach. Okay, well, our time is up, but we put one more.
Deity worship with personal relation with Krishna.
Deity worship, personal relationship with Krishna. That's getting better. Relationship. You can all have a look from nearby if you want to read it all, because I'm sure you can't from where you're sitting. But I'm thinking that we're getting something here, right? You see that the process of mind mapping does work. You know, it's like in the beginning it looks like, well, we're just writing things, but gradually we're going somewhere. We got deities on there, okay, feast for the eyes, personal relationship with Krishna, lecture by devotees. Someone said especially the service attitude comes out, chanting, focus on Krishna. Friends inspired to come back or to stay. I mean, like this, we're beginning to see that these things are all important to us. Prabhupada, okay, his love for us, biography, the miracles that he performed, his extraordinary faith, parents, good parents, you get tradition, guidance, sanskara, that tradition is connected to parampara, then it's good. Philosophy all falls into place. The books are absolute. Sannyasi's example in preaching and renunciation, which shows you can do with very little actually. Devotion, opportunity for service, practicality, simple living, high thinking, happy, experience, faith, association, devotees practice what they preach, and higher taste makes us give up unhappy things. Well, we are seeing a little bit how our faith is, what the roots are of our faith. Because this is like a tree, if we put it up, and these are roots going in the ground, and our faith is resting on various roots. It may not be complete, what we have done here, we also don't have time, but the point is that the idea is that faith is not resting on one thing. If faith is resting on only one thing, then it's very shaking, as a tree with one root will not be very shaky. Therefore, there should be many roots to our faith, and we should gradually broaden the roots of our faith and develop more roots. If one is believing in Krishna only because of the parents, then it's not a strong root. But if one is having all these other things, other roots as well, then that root of the parents is an asset. Like that, one thing we can see here, what I said, we have been looking at the roots of our faith and the need for a broad basis. I had the conclusion already on the board before. So that's what I want to end this morning with. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.